What's up, JR Noble here. So I just got a new shipment in today of a new toy that I want to break open right here on the spot. A little heavier than I thought, but this is the box and I'm going to be opening it up and showing you exactly what's inside of this in just a minute. So I've been DJing for many years now, since around 2002 or so, and I've been using my turntables to DJ a lot of gigs. And what I found though is that some gigs I don't necessarily need those turntables. As much as I love cutting and scratching and beat juggling and all those fun things, it's a little bit overkill for some gigs. So for example, I have a conference coming up in a couple weeks that I'm going to be DJing at. I've DJed there before in the past. It's like a 4-day event, and I have to set up my turntables in the main room, and then they've got the VIP parties, and there's usually like not a lot of time between the main conference and the party. And so I need to like break down my stuff and set it up really quick. And what I found is that it's kind of a hassle to like put those bad boys back in the case, lug them over to where I need to go. Yes, I could do like one big DJ coffin, but that gets to be really heavy. So what I decided to do was to buy a controller. So I'm going to jump into it and open up this box. All right. My mom didn't let me play with knives when I was little. I wasn't able to get my first knife until I was in Cub Scouts. But then I got in the Army and I was like, hey mom, look, I got knives. Be safe if you're using knives. Cut away from yourself. Can't wait to see what's inside. I mean, I already know what's inside, but Ooh. Take a look at that. Can't help but just want to pop those. Oh, super whack. Whatever. And here it is. We've got a controller. There it is. Yes, ladies and gents, we've got the DDJ SR2. Okay, so we've got the controller. It's out of the box. And what I want to do is I want to connect it all. We've got the power. We got the controller. We've got a weed whacker. And we got the USB. I'm going to connect it and we're going to see how this, make sure it works. All right, so I'm going to open up Serato DJ Pro. I actually have Scratch Live on here from when I'm using my turntables and my Rain 62 mixers. So I'll use Serato Scratch Live for that. But because I'm using the controller, then I'm going to need to use Serato DJ. Now, this isn't going to be a huge, long tutorial about all the in-depth buttons and functions of this particular controller. I'm just going to show you some of the key things that I want to pay attention to for myself as a DJ when I'm going to make use of this for a party and getting ready for gigs and stuff like that. So some of the key things that I want to make sure are working. The biggest thing for me, the reason I bought this was actually more so for the connections, because there's a Pioneer DDJ SR, not the SR2. There's an older version of this, and it doesn't have all the same connections here. So on the back of this, if I can stop making a mess. So on the back of this, we have the USB in, but we have a microphone input. We've got a couple of channel inputs, right? So if we want to connect turntables and things like that to this, we have that, or CDJs if we want to connect some stuff like that. Then there's XLR output, so that's really important for me because the speakers I have under here use XLRs, and that's the best way to connect with them. Plus, it also gives me a couple other extra outputs here, so the RCA and the booth outs. So the reason this is important is because if I wanted to run my two speakers and then also connect a sub, I can use this booth output to actually go to the sub. And then if I wanted to set up a monitor for myself, I could have the other channel just for a monitor. But then I also have the headphones outputs here too. So 1/4-inch headphones if I wanted to use something a little bit more professional. But I actually been using the 1/8-inch ones, just some earbuds. Honestly, what I've found is most people don't give a crap what you're using. They just care if you're playing good music and they're having a good time. All right, so I'm going to get this connected back up. Cool, and it's as easy as that. Just plug in a few things and we're ready to rock. One thing I noticed is that when I plug it in, it lights up a lot brighter if I have the power supply connected. So it's actually USB powered, and you don't necessarily need to have the power connected to it. But for times like this, when you're DJing in maybe a spot that's like really well lit, then you need extra power so the lights on the pads get brighter. Then having that power supply is going to be really helpful. But if it's like a dimly lit kind of dark club, then it doesn't really matter. You can just plug in USB, and you should have plenty of light on the pads and everything that's on the controller. So one of the first things this is asking me to do is to download drivers for this particular model, right? And so driver just means that's the way for this computer to speak with this controller. And whenever you're working with controllers and all this different kind of stuff, is you need to pay attention to the version of the computer software that you're running. So the Mac operating system that I'm running on is 10.11, and then the version of the drivers that you want to download for the particular controller. So I downloaded the latest driver for this, and so I should be able to install the latest drivers, and it just works fine. So you can hear that works fine. Seems to be okay. So no DJ set is complete without your air horn. Okay, so I've managed to get the drivers installed, and I've got Serato working with the controller now. And I was playing around with it a little bit, and I already noticed a couple of things that are not so good. What was happening was, as I was going through hitting the effects and making use of them, then all of a sudden the computer would glitch out and stop working, and I'd have to like restart the controller, and then it would work. But it seems to be all working good right now. Oh, there it is. It did it. That's a good reason to play around with stuff like this before you do a gig, like well in advance. So I have like 2 weeks before this gig that I really want to use this one for. The other stuff I have coming up, I don't necessarily need this right now. So I have time to play around with it and work out all the bugs before I actually get to the show and do that stuff, right? So I want to make sure that I have this all working and that there's no issues between my computer and this. So that's really important if you're getting ready to do a DJ gig, making sure all this stuff works. And what's a club night without a couple gunshots? I do have one extra unboxing for you that I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to open up another box that I got specific for this. More bubble wrap. Ooh, and this one actually pops. Yeah. Okay, so what I got was this magma case. And this is actually going to be for this controller. Because one thing that I found is that you definitely want to protect your gear if you're going to be traveling with it. So having a case to put this in is super important to keep it in really good shape while you're on the road, while you're traveling, or even if you're just doing gigs locally. Okay, so that's my special unboxing of my new DJ controller. And let me know if you have any questions about maybe the controller or just DJing, stuff like that. Drop a comment below. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm going to be releasing weekly videos revolving around DJing and music production and things like that. All right, so if you have any questions, drop them below, let me know. And I need to clean up before my girlfriend gets home because I've made quite a mess over here. So hope you enjoyed that video, and be sure to subscribe and also hit the little bell in the next to subscribe after you subscribed, so that way you can get notifications when I upload new videos. Be real, be you, have fun while you're doing it. This is JR Noble signing out. Have a great rest of your day.